Good afternoon, Jane.
Hello. So we are putting this video together for Breast Cancer Week.
Yes.
And I want to, first of all, thank you for talking to us about the journey that you're on at the moment.
Yeah.
So I'll be asking you some questions, if that's okay,
Of course.
throughout this interview. And I just want to understand your journey from start to finish.
Okay.
So I'm going to hand over to you.
Yeah.
If you talk us through, obviously, from the beginning when you was diagnosed with breast cancer,
Yeah.
and how it made you feel. So do you
Okay.
want to start?
I will. Okay. So
Yes.
way back in January this year, I found a lump in my right breast and got it checked out with the doctors, and they said, "Oh, it's most likely a cyst, but we'll see." Went to Kingsmill Hospital, who said we're slightly concerned it may well be more than that. Obviously, had the results later on that it was breast cancer, which in my heart of hearts, I kind of knew it was. And it was basically because I was on HRT, I had to come straight off that. So the menopausal symptoms kicked in big time. So it was then I got the diagnosis actually in February. So I then started treatment in March. So it was all pretty quick. So I started with chemo. And
How did you feel at that time when you was diagnosed
when
with
I was
breast cancer?
diagnosed,
How did you feel?
yeah, I wasn't surprised. I was upset, obviously. As you know, my sister had had it, breast cancer, only 8 months before I had. So it didn't surprise me, but it was right. Okay, once I got over the initial upset, and obviously with Mark, his reaction was he was obviously upset as well, but he's very like me. He's very strong. So I think in my mindset, I thought, right, okay, this is the situation. I have just got to get on with it now. So that's how I felt at the time.
Yeah,
Once I'd got over the shock, it was right. Let's just get on with this journey now.
yeah. And Mark is your partner.
He is indeed, yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
my lovely man, who's been through it before and not in a good way. So for him, it's been tough as well. But the good thing with us, we talk to each other, we support each other. I know I'm not in it on my own. I've got so much support from him and lots of friends as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was there anybody else that you got support? Who did you reach out to get your support?
Macmillan,
Macmillan.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So right from the start, because I knew about them really through my sister, so I rang them up and I got emotional support, I got financial help and advice, and also it's just, I knew that they were there for medical questions, anything I wasn't sure about.
Yeah.
And they have been absolutely fantastic. I actually donate to them now every month, because I think they're so amazing at what they do. And I actually had a Macmillan buddy as well. So she'd ring me up every couple of weeks, just to see how I was getting on. And we talk about anything and everything.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah,
And did
yeah,
you find that helped you?
definitely. Because sometimes when you're going through this, yes, you've got the support of those closest to you, but you also don't want to put everything onto them
Mhm.
because they're going through it with you. So to talk to a total stranger who is not associated with you is a really good thing to do, because you can get everything out that you need to get out. And you can have a laugh as well, because as you know, I've got such a weird sense of humor, maybe. I've said before, I remember, because as you also know, I've been losing weight through this and I'm now at my target weight. So that is how I found the lump. But when one of my colleagues said, "Oh, I've never seen you look so amazing," and I just came straight back and said, well, I've got the key, get cancer look amazing. You know, that is my black sense of humor, but it's
Yeah.
what's kept me going. And,
Okay.
you know, if you have a positive attitude and you keep a sense of humor, you will get through the treatment, especially chemo, so much better.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So obviously you went through your journey and had to have chemo. How did
Yeah.
that make you feel? What were the side effects for you?
So the side effects, I mean, probably the first four weren't too bad. And I was still able to go out for walks and I was still going on my exercise bike. It got progressively worse as it went on because the more you have, the more it accumulates in your system. So the side effects were obviously I lost my hair very, very quickly. I lost that before the second chemo, actually. And losing my hair to start with was it was pretty awful because, you know, as women, you know, I like to take care of myself, I like to look good and everything, but when I lost my hair it was a case of it was coming out in clumps. And I made that decision. I said to Mark, look, I just want you to shave it off because it was actually more upsetting seeing it coming out like that than
Yeah,
when he
can
shaved it
imagine.
off.
Yeah.
And he actually turned to me and he said, you've got a really pretty face, haven't you? And I said, what, you've never noticed before? Just, you know, but it was just him reassuring me that I still, to him, look beautiful no matter what.
Yeah.
And as time went on, I lost my eyelashes, and I think there were times when I felt really awful. Probably very, very few times I felt that bad. It would be that it was frustration more than anything that I couldn't do what I usually do. I was getting loads of infections, so urine infections, mouth thrush, which was awful.
Yeah.
So those were the things that used to really make me feel really bad. And the lack of energy as well,
Yeah.
because I just got to, you know, losing weight and feeling great. And all of a sudden, you just feel like you've been hit by a bus, really.
Mhm.
Um, and that would probably last, it would get more and more. So perhaps the first few, it would last for a few days. By the end of chemo, it was probably lasting nearly 2 weeks that I was feeling just complete lack of energy and just,
Yeah.
you know, just drained by it all.
Hmm.
And I was very lucky in some ways that I went through chemo when it was nice and sunny, so I could go and sit in the garden and feel a little bit better. Um, but, you know, I never ever wanted to give up. I never ever thought I'd die from it because I was told right from the start, it's treatable, we'll get you through this. And that is
Yeah.
what stuck in my head.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
is that what got you through that period
yeah,
of chemo?
yeah. It
Yeah.
was that sheer determination that, you know, I'm not going anywhere. I've got way too much good life to live. And, you know, a little thing like this is a hiccup. It's not going to get me, you know, I'm not going anywhere through it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I just want to say at this point, Joe, I think you're an inspiration.
Thank you.
The way that you've kept so positive, the way that you still look beautiful with even out any hair. Yeah,
It's
you
coming back.
definitely
There you go. Look, it's coming back. Soon.
brilliant. So you definitely are an inspiration to us all. So well done. I think you're coping with it really well. So obviously you got through your treatment, your chemo
No.
treatment.
Yeah.
What was the next step for you after that?
So I had a lumpectomy, and at one point there was a question mark as to whether it would be a lumpectomy or a mastectomy,
Yeah.
and it got me quite annoyed because it was somebody that had misread it. So I rang up the breast care team, and they absolutely assured me that it would only be a lumpectomy. They would get the results, which they did, and you know, it would be my decision as to whether it went any further.
Okay.
Thankfully, it didn't, so they got all of it out. So what the chemo did was it shrunk it by 60%. It was 7 centimeters to start with, so it was quite big. But they got it out, and it was about 140 grams when they got it out, which is about the size of a medium-sized potato. So it's still quite big.
Wow. So that was,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Did
And
reality set in at that point when you knew really how big it was?
um, it was kind of, it was a bit of a shock that it was that big, but it was like, it's gone, it's out of me.
Okay.
And when I had the results back that they'd got it all out, oh, that relief was just amazing. It
Yeah.
really was. I think that's when I had my first glass of wine after
Yeah.
not having any booze at all for all this time. And I've got a lovely, what Mark calls a shark scar. So it goes right from under my boob right up to almost my armpit. And I've still got a slight, what they call a seromonoma, which is a slight fluid filled sort of lump. So I've got a slightly wonky boob, but it's fine. I've still got to keep my boob, so that's good.
And I just love how open you are about it all.
Yeah,
You know, you truly are amazing.
thank
Um,
you.
Credit to you.
Thank
Credit
you.
to you on that. So obviously that it was a really good outcome. You didn't have
Yes.
to have any further surgery.
Yeah.
So whereabouts on the journey are you now, Joe?
So I've had 5 radiotherapy sessions. I've still got 10 more to go.
Mhm.
So I'll be having them again from tomorrow evening, and then it will be right then until the 17th of November. So I get a break at a weekend, thankfully. And it's more the going down there because it's at Nottingham. So it's
Yeah.
a bit of a trek down there and back. And sometimes it can take between 10 and 25 minutes. So far, I've not had any side effects. The worst thing for me is because as you know, I damaged my left arm a long time ago, so I've it to actually stretch it, it's quite difficult, and to
Okay.
have it above your head for all that
Yeah.
time, it can be quite painful. Plus, I've got chemo side effects that I've got a collapsed vein in my forearm on my left arm, so that is something that is going to take time to overcome. So that for me has been the worst bit. But you get measured up. To lie on this bed. You get, as I said to you, you get 2 fit young men drawing on your boobs, so it's not all bad. And I, as I was telling Mark this because, as you know, we like to have a laugh and a joke, and he
Yeah.
said, yeah, they've probably made a Picasso out of it, and yeah, I'll put it on eBay. Um, see what I can make out of it. But no, it's that bit is because I had to have some tattoos. That was it. Why anybody would choose to have tattoos, I do not know, because they're not particularly pleasant. But I've got 3 tattoos that mark where I need to have the radiotherapy. So you just get this machine that goes above your head, does what it needs to do, zaps
Yeah.
you, and the end is now in sight. I can't wait, quite honestly.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. So do you literally have to go into a machine? Is it
yeah.
quite claustrophobic in there, or
No,
do they
no,
just target the
yeah.
area?
So you lie on this bed that's all
Yeah.
set up for your height and stuff, and this machine just moves over your head. So it's set up on a computer to be you have to lie still the whole time. So it's set up exactly, where you are, where it needs to go, basically.
Yeah.
So they measure exactly like millimeters that you've got to be in the right place and stuff. So, it's just, as I say, it's more the going down there and back that's quite tiring, more so than the actual treatment.
Than the actual treatment itself.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
does the treatment hurt at all? Or
no,
is it okay? Okay,
no, you can't
that's
feel anything. You can just
okay.
hear it zapping. They did
Yeah.
say I might get some side effects this week sometime. It can dry your skin out a bit. That's really after chemo. It's nothing, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I'm glad I had chemo because it wouldn't have shrunk. But it's one of those things. If you don't have to have it, then great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. So after your radiotherapy,
yeah.
Joe, what's the next step for you then?
It will be just recovering for a couple of weeks and then starting back at work. One thing I do want to do, if I can do it whilst I'm still working, is I want to get more involved with Macmillan, and I'm going to find out how I can do that.
Yeah.
So whether it's just giving them support, I don't know. I want to reach out to other people and know that I can help. There is a lady who I'm sure she won't mind me saying, who I've got to know through Slimming World. She's currently going through breast cancer treatment. She's 35. She's got two young kids, and she's having to have a double mastectomy and her ovaries out. And I've been there for her. I don't know, I've never met her in person, but I just felt I had to be there to support her. And it really, really touched me. And we're going to meet after all of this is over. And it just made
Brilliant.
me feel great that I could,
Yeah.
use my journey to help her. Although it's different, it's, everybody's story is different. If I can help her be as positive as possible and give her support, then as far as I'm concerned, that's really a good thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at what point are you going to ring that bell to
I
say
will be doing it on the
cancer free?
17th of November, and I've asked if Mark can be there and video it, so I
Yeah.
shall be putting it on my Facebook page,
Brilliant.
because, as you know, I put everything on there, the whole story, and it has helped a lot of people, and that is why I wanted to do it, so that I can look back and see, this is what I went through. But it's more, if anybody is going through this, then they will know that they can do it. The better attitude you've got, the more positive, and definitely have a sense of humor, the more, easily you will get through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously you've talked about some points there that you would advise
Mm.
people. What would be your top 5 points that you would kind of, throughout your journey, that you would tell
Yeah.
someone to help them to get through it?
Yeah. So, firstly, definitely have a positive attitude. Secondly, be kind to yourself, because there will be times when you feel awful. Don't
Yeah.
beat yourself up when you can't do things. I had to learn that the hard way. I suppose look at getting all the support that you possibly can. Don't be proud to ask for it, because there are so many people, that have been through this. Get the support that you need. Um, Pamper yourself. Make yourself look better as much as you can. Have baths, put the moisturizer on, put makeup on, get dressed every day. It will make you feel better. And perhaps definitely have a sense of humor, because it may not be as strange as mine, but if you have a sense of humor and you can make fun of yourself, because the one thing that I used to say was, getting in the shower, it's wash and go. I slap a hat on or my wig, and it is so much quicker than hours spent at the. Think how much money I've saved. I don't have to have my nails done. I don't have to have my hair done.
Brilliant.
It's getting through it in a best way you possibly can.
And just before we finish the interview, you talk about having a hat and a
Yeah,
wig.
yeah.
Um, how did that feel to you to wear a wig after you lost your hair?
So I got the wig just before lockdown, thank
Yeah.
God. So I went to somebody who does the wigs at King's Mill, and he's
Okay.
fantastic. It's called Michael Rivelli. He's got his own studio in Nottingham, and he makes wigs that are fantastic. They look like real hair. Mine is actually acrylic, so I can't put any heat on it or anything, but it looks like proper hair. So once I got my wig, I actually did feel quite confident because it looked like me.
Yes.
And then the hats were more, because I can put scarves with them and I can have a different look every day. So I embraced that look. I kind of thought, okay, I haven't got my own hair, but I can have a different look each day if I want to. So it was me turning a negative situation into a positive. Yeah,
Brilliant.
yeah.
Okay. Well, All I want to say, Joe, is thank you for your time, and we really appreciate you talking to us about your journey. I
Thank you.
think it's going to touch a lot of people and be there as a support
Yeah.
for many people that may go through this.
Yeah.
I can't wait to have you back to work. We've really missed you. I know I've kind of been along this journey with you,
Yes, you have.
as we've talked
Yeah.
throughout your journey,
Yeah.
and and I can't stop talking to people about how inspirational you are. Um, you truly are a credit
Thank you.
to women out there. You've been so strong. You've been so funny. We've laughed.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yep.
um, we've had the emotional roller
Yeah.
coaster piece, and
Yes.
but out of it all, you've got through this journey, and you've come out with a really positive outcome.
Yeah.
And so thank you.
That's okay. I mean, it's helped me so much as well to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Once again, Joe, thanks, and we'll see you soon.
We will. All right then. Thank you.
Take care.
You too.